Hey, happy Sunday, guys. Thanks for joining me on this vlog today. It is Sunday, and I wanted to talk to you about accountability. I am actually sitting outside in the parking lot of our business, and I'm here working on a Sunday. And, as I drove in, I was thinking about accountability and why I'm doing this, because here's the truth. I don't want to be here. I don't want to go into the office building. I don't want to go work for a few hours, but I have to do it because I pride myself as a man by holding myself to the words that I speak. And what happened this week was my son, he, got sick on Friday. I was supposed to be in the office Friday, so I did not come in. We had to juggle, move some things around as a family. And my point to that is I'm here today on Sunday to help my team succeed. Like, I am being accountable to the words that I let my team know before they left for the weekend. And as a business owner, this is pretty common, right? Like, as a business owner, some of you might think, oh, I want to make my own schedule. I never want to work the weekends. I don't want to work Friday. I want to come in at 11, leave at 2, that whole thing. That's not how it is. This is how it is. But when we talk about accountability, there was a post done by Elon Musk recently, or Doge, about how they recently emailed all the federal employees. So just disclaimer, if you get offended by this, just leave my channel. Don't subscribe, because if you can't handle this, you're not going to be able to handle anything else that I put out there. So Doge is the Department of Government Efficiency, and they're looking at tackling, and have tackled thus far, as we roll into the last week of February, of looking at areas that we can cut as a nation and wasteful spending and things like that. Well, yesterday they came out and they said, hey, all federal employees, please respond to this email with the top 5 tasks that you accomplished this week, and CC your manager. And I thought it was freaking hilarious, because so many people, so many weak mindset type people are going to look at that and they're going to say, hey, that's micromanaging. And they're completely wrong. Like, that's not micromanaging. Micromanaging is telling you exactly what you have to do step by step and not trusting you can get the job done. What they are doing, from my perspective, my opinion, from the Doge standpoint, is they are holding federal employees that are paid by the taxpayers of this country accountable. And so I was thinking about this as I drove in, because specifically for me and my business, we recently implemented something like this, and it did not go over well with employees. And the reason we did is because things were happening that we're not happy with, or we didn't understand that, hey, why is X not getting done? And so it's like, hey, we're going to look at this. We're going to track your time. What are you spending your time on? How are you deciding to spend your time? And what are you getting, or what are the results that you're getting as a result of where you're spending your time? And, that multiple times throughout business, we've been told that's micromanaging. And I just laugh, because that's essentially what the Doge people, Elon Musk, sent out to federal employees. They said, hey, what are the 5 major things you accomplished this week? What are the 5 major things? And what happens is this, guys. When you are living to the word that you spoke, when you are accountable to the things that you said you're going to do, and that's what an employee agreement is, right? When you become an employee with a business, you guys shake hands and you say, I'm going to do this job, these duties, to the best of my ability. And the business owner says, okay, we are going to pay you for that. But when you are doing the things that you say you're going to do with that handshake, with that contract, putting out 5 major tasks of what you accomplished should be easy if you are accountable. Now, if you are not accountable, then it's going to be difficult. And that's when people are starting to kick and scream and say, oh, this is micromanaging, whatever. And the reason that is because as a business owner, as a man, not only do I hold the mirror to myself, but I hold the mirror to the people that I work with. And when you hold the mirror to the people that you work with, they look back at themselves. And so in yesterday's vlog, we talked about, you're the problem, but you're also the solution. And so, but people don't like that. And as I wrap up the last quarter of my life in my late 30s, as I go into my 40s, I see this more and more, and especially in business, I see this. I see people just aren't accountable to themselves. And when I reflect daily, guys. I am constantly reflecting on the past day, the past week, and this idea of accountability shows up everywhere in your life. And if you can't be accountable to yourself, then you have work to do. And that goes for me too. That goes for me as a man, as a coach, as a business employer, as a husband, as a father. Like, I am holding myself accountable as best as I can. And there are times that I don't do that, and it bothers the shit out of me. So that's why I'm here at my office building on Sunday. But when we look at accountability, accountability breeds consistency. Like, if you are constantly holding yourself to the words that you speak, if you say, hey, I'm going to get up at 5 a.m., hey, I'm going to get up and work out at 5:15, or whatever it is, it's different for everybody. But the sooner you realize that you're going to hold yourself accountable to your word, the more consistent you get. But if you choose to not hold yourself accountable, yesterday we talked about poor people having poor excuses. So if you choose in your life not to hold yourself accountable, and then you start doing this, you start blaming everybody. Oh, nope, it's not me. It's not me, it's you. It's you. You're micromanaging. You're holding me accountable, but you're really, no, you're micromanaging me. It's not that I'm not accountable. You are significantly lost. And that's where I would guide you. This is the first step of any personal development that you do, is holding yourself accountable. Holding yourself accountable as a man. Holding yourself accountable as a husband. Holding yourself accountable as a parent. Holding yourself accountable as a person of faith. Like, hold yourself accountable. Because when I go back and I reflect, it's all of the things that I am not living up to and holding myself accountable to, the things that I want, to the things that I desire, to the things that I said I'm going to do. And if you really want that impact and that change in your life, you must be willing to continue to go back to those areas and say, hey, this is where I was not showing up. This is where I need to show up better. These are the things that I said I was going to do, and I need to do it. And you're constantly refining that process. It's never ending. There is no finish line. And so in all of this, as I was driving, it reminded me of a former employee where, things just weren't working out. We were providing hours of coaching every week and giving very clear expectations, and this employee just wasn't meeting them. And we were in a meeting one time, and what kept happening was this employee just kept saying, well, you guys and you and you are this and this. And I finally just stopped the meeting and I said, what are you accountable for in your position? And immediately that employee was like, well, you, and I was like, no, you're not understanding me. What are you accountable for in your position with this company? And this employee resorted to, well, we're just not going to agree on this. So what happened was I held up the mirror and I said, you can blame me all you want all day. It doesn't mean it's right. It doesn't mean it's okay. But I am asking you, as your supervisor, as your employer, what are you accountable for when it comes to your position with our company? And the employee couldn't tell me. Like it was it was no, I can't tell. So I'm just gonna retreat and cross my arms, and say, well, we're just never gonna agree on this. And as a man, as a business owner, entrepreneur, that's so telling, right? It's so telling that this person was not getting the concept of what I was saying. Like, this employee could have said, well, my job is this, and this is how I show up to do this, and this, and I do a damn good job on this, and this. But instead, it was, I'm pushing back. I'm gonna push this away. I'm not gonna deal with it. We're just not gonna agree, so I'm not gonna even go there. And it reminds me back when I was at the fire department, how I went through a basic interrogation course. And what they said, that like from a fundamental foundation, when you would interrogate somebody, like this is basic stuff that cops, FBI, all those types go through. And I went through it as a fire investigator. They said this, they're like, if you accuse somebody of doing something wrong, the first tell is, like, if I said, hey, you stole $100,000, and if you're truly innocent, you are going to fight that to the death. You're going to be like, absolutely not, you're wrong, you don't know what you're talking about, blah, 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 blah. And the person that is most likely guilty, right, everything, trial by their peers, right, is not going to have the same reaction to the person that is holding themselves accountable, to the person that's going, nope, I definitely did not do that. You are so full of it. You don't know what you're talking about. The person that is guilty is going to kind of step back and go, well, no, nope, that wasn't me. And that's the thing, guys, like with holding yourself accountable, like this instance that I'm talking about, an employee, like if it were me, the times in my career where I got called out or I had a difficult conversation, like I fought for the work that I had done, because I thought the work that I had done was the best damn work possible. Like I knew I gave everything that I did, and I knew that I checked the boxes. It doesn't mean that I don't make mistakes. But when challenged of my word, of my accountability as a man, unless I didn't do a good job, and I frequently have to eat crow with my staff. I just had to do it the other day. But I will take accountability and say, you know what? I screwed that up. I forgot to order that product. That's on me. That's exactly what I said last week. So to wrap all this up after, 13 minutes of this conversation is, look at your life and figure where you're not being accountable. Are you saying you're going to help your wife do something? Are you, saying you're going to get up at 5 a.m. and work out? Are you saying you're going to read the Bible? Are you saying you're going to take your wife on a date? Are you saying you're going to play with your kids? But then when the time comes, you don't do it. See, that in a man specifically breeds all of this crap within inside of us. It breeds shame. It breeds guilt. It breeds dissatisfaction. And I feel that. I understand that. I feel it. I'm not exempt to this. I'm not some, person that's perfect. I'm definitely not. I definitely struggle with this sometimes on a daily or weekly basis, because there are times, like I'm sitting here right now, that I don't want to do something, but my word, my accountability is more important than my feelings. Because my feelings are, I wanted to stay home with my family. My feelings are, I just wanted to sip coffee in my office, read some leadership books, and just do whatever. But my accountability and my word is more important than that. and I want to set my team up for success. So I'm here on Sunday. I'm going to go upstairs for a few hours. I'm going to make sure that my team has everything that they need so that they can be successful this week, and that they know that they can rely on me to be accountable to myself and accountable to them. So the last thing I want to talk about is you have to be willing to be accountable when it sucks and when it's good. So meaning, if you're going to take the credit for the job done, you can take that credit, but you also must take the credit for when you screw up. So like I was saying, last week I had to eat some crow. I forgot to order a certain product that we offer. A patient came in, we didn't have it. And so now it'll be here, tomorrow. So I took accountability. I said, you know what, that's my fault. I cannot blame anybody but myself. That piece of ordering that product is specifically on me. I accept that. So you have to be willing to have the balance of accepting credit when credit is due and accepting credit when you don't want to accept it. You have to focus on that. You can't have one without the other. And if you're living a point where it's like, yep, I want all the credit. I want all the credit for this. Look at me. I did this. Hell yeah. But when times get tough, you're not willing to go, yeah, that was my fault. Then you need to focus on accountability. Remember, guys, accountability breeds consistency. So if you're struggling to be consistent, go back and check if you're holding yourself accountable. And here's the thing. It starts with you. The words that you say inside your head, nobody else hears. It starts with you. And then you may have a spouse, you may have kids, you may have employees, you may have coworkers, you may have a pastor or whatever that are then going to help hold you accountable. But it begins with you. So if you want to change this, if you want to elevate your life, you got to start there. Have a good Sunday, guys.